So it's 115 degrees at my mom's house. I'm inside the barn. This video is going to be a comparison between medium and large format. On medium format, I'm shooting the Pentax 6.7 with the 105mm lens. On 4x5, I'm shooting the 210mm lens, which roughly equates to around a 113 on 6x7, so not exactly the same, it's a little bit tighter, but it's the closest you can get. So I'm gonna go around, shoot some things, and kind of compare between the two with detail, bokeh, separation, stuff like that. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. This is gonna be f5.6 and the top shutter speed of 1/400th of a second. And 3, 2, 1. f2.4, 1/1000th of a second. There we go. So I use this app called Viewfinder, and it's really handy to figure out your compositions. So you just select 210, and then you can kind of see. So if I want to get the whole wheel in here, it'd be right there. But I think I'm going to come up and just get the vine part. I think that's what I want right there. So I think this next shot is going to be like a more of a detail and sharpness shot. On the Pentax, I'm going to shoot 2 stops down from the maximum aperture, and then on the 4x5, I'm going to do the same. And I'm just going to shoot this wall. I think I might look around and see what else, if I can find anything else. But right now, I think I'm going to shoot this wall just because it has a lot of text. So I figured it'd just be easier to pop in Lightroom and kind of go over some of these images. This first one is going to be of my mom with the 4x5 and the 210mm lens. You can kind of see the characteristics it gives off with the bokeh separation and the detail. And then this is with the 6x7. Obviously it's a little more pulled out because it is a little bit of a wider focal length, but you can kind of see how they both compare. And I'm not going to zoom in on this one because the detail isn't that great, but because I think I misfocused a little bit, but you can kind of see the difference between the two. And I quite like both of these. I kind of like the Pentax a little bit more just because you can kind of see more of the area that she's in. If I had to do any environmental portraits, I think it would be with the 150 on the 4x5, just because it's a little bit wider. This one, you can kind of see the detail that 4x5 gives. You can see the cobwebs right here, and then the droplets of water, the paint chipping, stuff like that. The screw is very detailed. The numbers just give off a very realistic tone, and the paint chipping in the wood again. And then when you go to the 6x7, you can't even see the cobweb here. This one's very, very faint. And then the numbers just are going to be mushy and blurry a little bit, and you can't really see the paint chipping. And then even when you go down here with the hose, it just looks like a little, there's not much detail and separation in the actual details of the hose. And then when you get down here with the crease, you can kind of see that. And then when you switch to the 4x5, you can really see how much more detail there is in the actual hose. And you can just kind of really see how much more it's separated, and it just gives a little more depth to the actual photo. This one is where I stopped down the lens to f11 from 5.6, and you can really see it with this. When you zoom in on this beer sign, you can read everything down here, White Plains, New York. You can almost read out the number. And then on the 6x7 shot, it's just one big mess of grain and blurriness. And obviously if you zoom out like this, you're not gonna need that amount of detail, and you can kind of get the overall picture. But if you really want to zoom in and crop in or blow this up to a bigger size, 4x5 is going to be the way to go. Even on this license plate up here, you can read out the number 3773098, and then when you go up here, it's just, again, you can't read anything. And I was pretty blown away by the amount of detail that was in this photo, and definitely if I do any more landscapes with 4x5, I will be stopping down maybe to f11, f16. I'll have to look up to see what the best overall aperture is for these specific lenses, but really impressed with this shot. Obviously shooting with the 4x5 is going to be a lot slower and the Pentax is going to be a lot quicker, but I myself have been trying to slow down and really focusing on my compositions and getting the most out of every shot. Maybe not with these pictures just because I was doing a test for a video, but 4x5 really makes me slow down and consider everything, and just to make sure my focus is perfect and my exposure is perfect, stuff like that, and to know that I can get the detail that I want out of it and still get the same look of the Pentax is a big plus for me. These photos were actually developed in D76, and that's the first time I used that specific developer. I'm usually an Ilford guy, but I was doing a live stream developing video, and Kodak actually jumped in and they sent me some D76 developer, and I quite liked it, and it's super easy to mix, and it's pretty cheap. It's around $10 for I think 16 rolls, so I'm going to be experimenting with that since TMax is my favorite black and white film. But other than that, thanks for the support. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, any questions down below, just let me know. DM me on Instagram, and I'll see you in the next one.